All right, welcome back, race fans. Now we're going to talk about real quick here, get our racing action rundown. LaSalle Speedway for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Casey Kane Racing, Budweiser night here at LaSalle, and Casey Kane was on hand, but his cars dominated. Joey Saldana and Paul McMahon finished 1-2 in their Casey Kane Racing car. Steve Kinzer and that stinking Tony Stewart you like over here, Kevin Schoonover.
One thing about it is it's a shame that Casey Kane can't run like that in NASCAR, but Tony Stewart does dominate some of NASCAR. So
Steve Kinzer finishes third, fourth Donnie Schatz, fifth Lucas Wolf. Next night, they were at Carter Raceway Park in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Wow. We have a beaver down at the racetrack. Maybe we should rename our track. But anyways, Joey Saldana wins that one again. Paul McMahon dominates. They dominate again. Steve Kinzer finishes third for the second night in a row.
Who's Kinzer driving for again this year?
Tony Stewart. I can't. Lucas
He the man. He the man.
Nah. Lucas Wolf finishes in fourth. Craig Delansky in fifth. Next up, our final night for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. It was Cedar Lake Speedway in New Richmond, Wisconsin. It's got Sam Haferty Jr. down here, position number 0. So I'm not sure what that's all about. Craig Delansky officially.
I'd say probably he ended up being a little light or something.
Craig Delansky winning it. Jason Myers second, third Sammy Swindell, fourth Jason Sides, and fifth Paul McMahon. And definitely a big swap from what we've seen in earlier. The points look like this. Joey Saldana in that Casey Kane Racing machine with 8 wins this season. He leads Steve Kinzer in second at Tony Stewart Racing, number 11, with 4 wins right behind him. Jason Myers has 7 wins, but is in third place. Fourth, Donnie Schatz with 2 wins, and fifth, Jason Sides with 3 wins.
How old's Kinzer?
I'm not sure. He's as old as Eldora Speedway. I know that.
He can still get it done, can't he?
He's, I believe, 50-some years old, over 55, but it's awesome to see him run out there still and do good. Deer Creek Speedway and the Wild West Tour in World of Outlaws late models. Tim McCready wins at Darrell Lanigan from Union, Kentucky, here local Darrell Lanigan in second place. Jimmy Mars, third, fourth, Rick Eckert, and fifth, Shane Clanton.
Tim McCready, a new dad, too. So,
is he?
Congratulations, Tim McCready, on the birth of your son last week.
Superior Speedway in the Mid-State Hydraulics 50. It's Jimmy Mars, the Iceman, not Kevin over here, but the Iceman, Jimmy Mars, Darrell Lanigan in second.
He just had to go copy my name.
He had to copy your name. All right. Well, Josh Richards in third, fourth, Brady Smith, and fifth, Brian Burkhofer.
Burkhofer flipped one the night before.
Yep, and we'll definitely have to poke at Burkhofer with somebody else later tonight about the Preacher race. So we also got that coming up, but finish out this River City Speedway of the Wild West Tour, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Austin Hubbard wins it. How old is Austin Hubbard?
18 years old.
18 years old, Austin Hubbard. Darrell Lanigan still can't quite get it, finishing in second. Third, Josh Richards. Fourth, Tim McCready. And fifth, Jimmy Mars.
Lanigan, though, an excellent weekend for Lanigan. He was in the top all weekend long.
He ran well. Yeah.
And Lanigan... a lot of people take Lanigan for being arrogant. He's a very quiet, shy, spoken person, but man, knows how to wheel a race car.
Dakota State Fair Speedway, the Wild West Tour. I don't know if it quite finished out, but that was the end for the weekend there. And here on South Dakota, Jimmy Mars wins it again. Darrell Lanigan second again, right there, real close. Steve Francis from Ashland, Kentucky, the Kentucky Colonel, finished in third. Brady Smith fourth, and Austin Hubbard fifth. The points look like this: Josh Richards, Tim McCready, Darrell Lanigan, Steve Francis, and Austin Hubbard.
And McCready not that far out.
Picking her out?
Yeah, don't look for McCready to give up just quite that easy yet.
So we got the Lucas Oil late model winner. Friday night they got rained out, but EPJ, Earl Pearson Jr. wins it. Bloomquist second, and Cook third.
3 in a row for Earl Pearson Jr.
Really?
3 in a row.
That's a pretty tough feat to do for the Lucas Oil sponsored number 44 machine.
When you've got NASCAR money behind you, it's
Bobby Labonte.
Bobby Labonte is a big part of that program.
Yeah, he better be bringing home some wins.
Yeah.
All right, now we got the NASCAR Craftsman, I keep saying that. Camping World Truck Series, Lucas Oil 200 from Iowa Speedway, presented by Speed on Mediacom. Austin Dillon wins it. I was kind of surprised about that. 205 laps. They must have had a green-white checkered there. Johnny Sauter in second. Third, Matt Crafton. Fourth, Ken Schrader. And fifth, James Busher.
Austin Dillon coming from the dirt too, guys.
Yeah, he won the couple years ago, the World 100, and I got a video of that. So his grandfather is Richard Childress, and a lot of money behind him. We was actually looking for Brushcreek shirts, and we seen an Austin Dillon shirt, and I said, man, that looked awesome. But I know Weasel Rhodes is going to love this. Kyle Busch wins the Dollar General 300 powered by Coca-Cola. Joey Logano, man, something happened there right there at the end. Kyle Busch just shot by him after the 22 of Brad Keselowski ran out of gas, gave Kyle Busch the position up. Kyle won it.
Logano ain't quite figured out how far to push that gas pedal down yet.
Oh, man.
Kyle Busch ain't figured out how to let off of it.
Oh, all right. Brian Scott, third. Fourth, David Rudiman. Fifth, Jason Leffler. We'll talk about David Rudiman here in just a second. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the LifeLock 400. David Rudiman gets the drive home to a win. That's good to see.
Congratulations to Michael Waltrip Racing. Guys, that young man, that family's from Kentucky down there. So, awesome win for those guys.
All right, now, buddy, your Roush boy, Carl Edwards, finished second. Getting her up there, ain't you?
Well, we keep tweaking. Me and Jack's working on some things. So.
All right, Jeff Gordon finishes third. He was right there at the beginning and couldn't quite cap it off. Clint Boyer fourth. Fifth, Jamie McMurray, the Daytona 500 winner. Casey Kane finished sixth, and his sprint cars may be doing a little bit better than him, but hey, he'll pick it up. Jeff Burton seventh. Eighth, Denny Hamlin. Ninth, Tony Stewart. Oh, man. Paul Menard, a surprising finish there in 10th. So, great run for some of the guys like David Rudiman and Paul Menard.
I can't believe that you don't like Tony Stewart.
I don't.
He is the last original outlaw there's left on the circuit. He is not held by strings.
Yeah. All right, after this commercial break, we're going to take a look at our local race in action. Welcome back, race fans. Now it's time for our local racing action. KC Raceway, the veteran Delmas Conley from Wheelersburg, Ohio, made it number 739. That's a big feat. I remember when they was talking about him winning number 700, but close to 750 now. And I know, Kevin, you went down there and watched them boys. Talk a little bit about that race down there and Delmas winning again.
Yeah, we did. It was a good night for Delmas. He ran really well in the A main. Probably ended up winning by about almost a straightaway. Keith Berner gave him a really good race there in the beginning, but I'll tell you, the old man laid it on him, buddy. He's one of a kind.
Kind of in the private circles, Punky. You know what his nickname is, don't you?
Oh, what is it?
The Playboy.
Oh my. All right. Well, Rick Hensley from Oak Hill, Ohio, bested the AMRA Modifieds, and Bruce Gray Jr. from Chillicothe, Ohio. I guess it's taxed at home his win in the Dan Reno Hobby Stocks. Again, Dan Reno, I know he raced up at Moeller's a couple times. He tragically, a couple years ago, I believe, or last year, passed away in a ATV accident. So keeping him in our hearts, and we always will, and the Dan Reno Hobby Stocks named after him. Late models at Brushcreek Motorsports, and we'll say it again, Moeller Raceway Park got rained out, so make sure you go out there next Friday night, a regular race. But late models at Brushcreek, Robbie Hensley wins, and following him...
A big show.
Yep.
Big show.
Following him across the line were Kevin Wagner, Mike Myers, Josh Tidwell, and Joey Dunseith.
Now listen, we had a killer late model lineup this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very surprised. Great turnout. And you've got to go to the website, www.brushcreekmotorsports.com, and listen to the interview. He did an awesome interview.
Yeah.
All right, now the Modifieds. Doug Atkins come in and took it away. And I know a couple weeks ago he was saying, I want it Moeller's, I want it Brushcreek. Couldn't quite get it at Portsmouth, but not sure how he did it. Wait, we didn't run Moeller's, I'm sorry. But Adkins, he runs up at Moeller's a lot because you guys are UMP, and he decided to come down and practice for the Heritage race.
Right.
And but he won. He's very nice. I went back and talked to him in the trailer, and he said, he said, you got to learn how to flap. But I said, man, you're crazy. But anyways, Doug Atkins wins it. Dave Jamison in second place.
Mike Grosson coming in third. One thing about the Buzzard, do you know that he's crashed so hard twice that he's tore the retina out of his eyeball?
And he still gets in that car and mashes it to the board.
Oh, he's wide open. I know at our place he's right up on the wall. He's fun to watch. We always enjoy having him.
No fear, the Buzzard.
The Buzzard. He said before Weasel had a flat tire, he said, where can you go and watch a Weasel and a Buzzard go at it? But Doug Pop finished fourth, and Justin Mullen finished fifth. A great run for Justin there. Legend Cars, Jameson won again, but last week they was saying Tom Parton won because Jameson had a miss. Well, now we can say Tom Parton had a miss, a real bad one there.
Tom Parton dominated that race until caution come out. Caution come out late, and the dad of the group, I think, kind of took the boy to school.
Oh my! Are you talking about me?
No,
you're talking about Dave.
No, you run out of talent back here.
Yeah, hush up.
And,
Gary Rowland finished in third, Jake Miller fourth, and fifth, Rob Puckett. You'll definitely hear about the Preacher's race later, but we are going to talk about right here real quick. Our legend cars will be up at. We're doing a sermon up there. Troy Dotson's working there in Seaman, and we're going to have our cars parked up there. So make sure you go up there. It's our Bible study this week.
Bible school.
Bible school. That's right. Make sure you go up there and join them. Crazy Compacts. Rex Smith Jr. wins it again. Bill Taylor right on his heels, though. Gerald Campbell Jr. and Gerald Campbell Sr. third and fourth. And Cole Dement, a young boy, awesome running there. I believe he's 14 or 15 years old, running there. Awesome run for him. He had a wreck a couple weekends ago, come back, and he got fifth. So, awesome run.
Crazy Compact division there at Brushcreek is just, it's growing every week. We probably had 14 cars out there this week, and unfortunately in the pasture race we had a couple cars that got hurt that didn't get to make it back out for the Crazy Compacts, but I know Kevin Shanks, and we'll talk about Shankster here in a second on another note, but he's hooked.
Is he hooked?
He's hooked. He's coming, getting the knee on. We'll put it back together after his episode out there.
Oh my.
And he says he's hooked.
All right. Well, we'll talk about the Preacher race here in a second. The Bombers, Darren Pendleton held on over the final laps to pick up the feature win. He was the only official finisher. Everybody else dropped out. Roy York dropped out on the last lap, so the only guy taking the official checkered flag.
I probably wouldn't have told that.
Well, hey. All right. Jeez, the Preacher race.
He felt really good until that point, is what I'm saying.
Well, he was way out in front. He was kicking his butt anyway. Sorry, Roy, but he was. I'll throw him back in there for a second. But all right, the Preacher race. We don't have an exact lineup, but Troy Dotson, and we'll have his interview here on here next week.
From the tail.
From the tail, last place, come all the way back to win in that crazy Preacher's race. Kevin, talk about what happened in that wild one.
Well, Tim Adams, this is the 7th annual running of the Faster Pastor race, and J.C. McCain, one of the partners at Brushcreek Motorsports, was in Florida, and he was listening to a conference they had down there and heard him talking about this. And so J.C. McCain was the brainchild. He come to Tom, said, I want to have a pastor's race. Tom said to make it happen. And Tim Adams took over and had this thing go. And man, it's been an interesting journey. These pastors, we have different pastors from different churches come in, and they get in these cars, and man, I didn't know pastors was competitive.
They get in there and they get going.
If you want to see the real side of your pastor, get him in a race car and let him run 10 laps. Man,
there was rough driving calls on these pastors.
We had to put poor old, and I won't mention his name, but we had to put one pastor.
We'll mention his name. Wait, is he who I'm thinking he is?
We had to. No, Jim Chandler unfortunately tore his car up, so he.
Okay, then we won't mention his name. We was going to poke at Jim Chandler a little bit, but we'll be all right.
Jim tore his up, but one of the team cars, we had to go out and tell the guy, say, hey, we know you're excited, we know
getting pumped up, adrenaline running.
You got to calm down, because he took out 5 cars in one lap, and
forced a couple guys off the back.
Yeah, that's what happened to Burkhofer Jr., Kevin Shanks. Poor guy won't even put 15B on the side of his car. He made another guy put 15B on the side of his car.
And that guy caught on fire.
I told poor old Wayne Conley, I said, Wayne, what in the world did you listen to Shankster for? Don't you know that Burkhofer's got the worst luck there is? He flipped the car the night before and then caught him. But anyhow, it was a good time. Man, you talk about the people in the stands, competitive. They got their own shirts for their team.
Screaming and yelling for their show.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And again, Tom Parton lets them sell tickets, and a portion of the tickets goes to their church. So it was a good time. Man, it was a little wild,
Troy Dotson ended up bringing it home, though.
All the way from the tail. Poor old Troy. And Troy, I'm gonna root for you here a little bit. I don't think one person from his church was there to see him win.
He just jumped in the car that day and started racing.
Yep.
But awesome run for him. But he wanted me to throw in this here. He said it was the Pepsi trailer concession stand sponsored number 82 machine. So he told me to say that. That's not out of my mouth. He said the Pepsi trailer concession stand in between the grandstands at Brushcreek, that was the sponsor on that car.
It ought to be, because he ate enough to fill a dumpster up.
Oh, my. Next up, we got the Kevin Moeller interview.
Hey, Kevin, man, we appreciate you coming out, taking your time, coming and doing this radio thing. Man, are you still having fun?
Oh, absolutely, Kevin. I mean, we have a big time. Thank you guys so much for having us. We've enjoyed it, a lot of fun, and yeah, even with everything going on in our deal, we're still having fun. They're not going to take that away from us.
Well, good deal. Class A #1, Class A facility, guys. Friday nights. If you want to see some great stuff, go out there to Motor Raceway, check it out. And I was at Chick-fil-A one night. And we was eating. I'll tell you the story. And there was a big family over there eating, and they said, "Man, we went down to this racetrack last night. And we got rained out." And I said, man, it was wild. First time we'd ever been there. That was crazy. You got to come with us. And I just listened. It was at your track. And
really? Well, that's cool.
That's what makes you feel good.
Yeah, it does.
People talking good about the sport.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, this week, we try to get an interview every week. We don't have a driver interview. We have a racetrack owner. We got Kevin Moeller here. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Stephen. Great to be with you.
Now, talk a little bit about, you own Moeller Raceway Park up in Mount Orr, Bahia. Talk a little bit about your how you got started into racing.
Well, just always been involved. Come from a racing family, a couple generations deep. Dirt track racing is just something we've always loved and done as a family. So we was able to acquire enough property and just decided to go ahead and build a racetrack.
Now, what pressured you into building a racetrack? What went through your mind when you decided, hey, we're going to build a racetrack?
Yeah, it was a tough deal. I mean, obviously there was a lot of thought went into it. It's a pretty big process, really, to start from the ground up like we did, and pretty much like you guys did too, I think. I don't know, just kind of a childhood dream. A lot of people claim I've lost my mind. Maybe I have, but just something we always wanted to do.
Yeah, so you guys were actually some of the few that actually built the track. A lot of people go and buy track I know Schrader's went and bought KC up there from Jimmy Neer, but you guys actually built the track. Talk about just the building of your track. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was hard. It was a lot of hard work. We started with basically what amounted to about a 40-acre soybean field, pretty much flat wetlands up there where we're at. So we had some equipment. We rented some equipment, and we just went to work. We dug a big hole, got us a bunch of good yellow clay, and we moved about a little over 100,000 yards of dirt, and we just built us a little quarter-mile speed plant.
Now, a lot of people think, well, just go out there and get a bulldozer and start going out there, but there's more than just even building the track. There's got to get all your stuff ready. You got to get all the permits from the state, and I know you guys built some of your track with the blocks, the concrete blocks, and that's what we're replacing our wall with, and they're easy to move around. So if you got to do something, they're easy to move around. And talk about your first couple years of racing. The day when you open, it's like, oh, but once the jitters get over, talk about your first couple of years of racing.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was it was pretty nerve-wracking going in. We didn't really know what to expect. We was confident that it'd do okay. But it probably started out a little tougher, a little slower than actually what I had thought it would. But it's like any other business. You start a business, realistically, you look at 3 to 5 years for that business to get up and really going well. And we're in our 4th year now, and we see the fan base growing. We see a lot of good things going on. But it was a major undertaking. There was a lot of blood, sweat, tears back there.
Now, you guys talk about 4 years open. You built probably how long did it take you to build the place?
It took us right at 10 months. We broke ground July of '06, and we opened up the end of May of '07. So it was about a 10-month deal.
Now, normally we ask the drivers about how racing has changed, and in your short amount of years, how has stuff at your racetrack changed from the time you built it to now?
Well, it has changed a little bit. The economy's definitely changed some in the last 4 years. I don't think it's hurt us a whole lot. It definitely hasn't helped us any. But we've seen some changes. We've had a street stock class that we've changed around several times in 4 years. The super late models have stayed pretty consistent. We're a UMP sanctioned modified track, which has always done pretty well for the UMP mods. And then we also run Chevettes, as I mentioned, along with street stock. So there's been a few little changes, not a whole lot. We're pretty much the same as when we opened.
So not enough time to really change much. But
yeah, not really. I mean, like I say, we're still fairly still fairly new at the game, still learning. You know, we make mistakes. We're like anybody else, but all in all, I think we do a pretty good job of getting the show in.
Now, I don't know how many times you did it, but I know you did a derby, and we won't get into that, but that didn't go very good. But, I mean, you did derbies. What else did you do besides derbies? Because I know Brushcreek, we did derbies and tractor pools and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we did. We've tried a few things. We tried a demo derby. Unfortunately, we did have a fatality in that. I'm not afraid to talk about it. A good friend was killed at that deal. You know, probably our darkest day at this point. That was a really bad thing. But you know, it's a risky thing like racing. It unfortunately it happens, and thank God it didn't happen very often. But it was real unfortunate that it happened at our place, but it did, and we've moved on, and everybody's okay with it. But you know, we tried swap meets, tried some car shows. Really didn't see much success with any of that stuff, to be quite honest with you. In the future, we're going to do some music things, some concerts. I think that's something that could have some success, some bluegrass stuff, some country, maybe try to get some local talent, battle the bands, things, that sort of thing. So we're working at that stuff right now.
Now, you talk about halfway through your season. Talk about some of the bigger dates coming up. I see you got your schedule there. Talk about some of your bigger dates coming up.
Yeah, we got a few big dates coming up. It's a shame we got rained out this past Friday. We had the NRA Sprint Invaders coming, the 360 wing sprints. That was a great show for us. Unfortunately, that got rained out this past Friday. But coming up, we got some good shows. We got a late model special, July 23rd, 15 to win. We've got the Rayburn, the Nazareth Series coming in August 6th. That's a 2,000 to win late models. And then our big event of the year is a 3,000 to win Ike Moeller Memorial for late models coming up August 20th. That's something we always look forward to. So that's a few of the bigger things coming up.
And well, some of your bigger dates have passed. Talked about how some of the big ones so far this year and before have gone.
Yeah, we have. We've had some good events this year. Of course, Holman Motors came on board as a Chevette sponsor for us, and they really did a great job pumping some money in the Chevette purse up there. Greg Holman down at Eastgate, he's done some really good things for our Chevette class and for the track in general. He's a great guy. Of course, they've been around a long time down there at Eastgate, down at Holman Motors, and so they've really helped us. Matador Ford came on board this year as our UMP modified class sponsor. We had a big 1,500 to win modified that really went well. I think we had about, I don't remember the car count we had, but we had upwards of 30, 32 mods that night, I think. So L&M Performance, Larry and Michelle Pickelheimer over at Bethel, they had a lot. Back in June, we had L&M Performance Night. We had the UMP American Late Model Series in. That was a 2,000 to win. That was a great
I was
event.
there for that. That was a good race.
That was a really good race. Back in May, we had our third annual Armed Forces. We do that every year, the Freedom Fighters 40 for late models. So we've had some good events, both late model, mod. We've had a couple $600 to win street stock specials. I've got one or two of them coming up. And then I mentioned Holman Motors with the Chevettes. We had a $1,500 race a while back, that's pretty big for a 4-cylinder Chevette class, and that's all credit to Greg Holman down at Holman Motors. So it's good to have sponsors, and these guys help us so much. U.S. Race Gear with the street stocks, they're all just a big help.
And now you talk about your big races. I listened to some of them on the radio, and I know C103 helps you out there on their racing schedule. Yeah, we're part of the C103 Championship Racing Series live broadcast. We've had one or two of them this year. I think we've still got a couple more coming up with them, and they do a great job. And another thing is racing has changed. The Facebook, I know you all are on Facebook and Twitter, and that's another way you can follow Moeller Raceway Park is on Facebook and Twitter. And any last notes you want to put on here?
Not really. Just definitely want to thank everybody for coming out. It's been a pretty good season this year, especially with the rain compared to last year. Last year we had a whole bunch of rainouts, and thank goodness that the rain's been a little easier on us this season.
And real quick, what do you got coming up this weekend?
Coming up this weekend, July 16th, it's a regular show. We've got our 4 divisions, late models, mods, street stocks, and Chevettes, and we also have the 1,200cc wing mini sprints with us. They're always fun to watch on the little track.
All right, thank you for coming out here and doing this interview with me, and I might end up running up there. I know I come up there some Friday nights when I ain't got nothing to do. I want to watch some racing, and you're really the only place around here that runs Friday nights, unless you want to run all the way across the state. So it's right. Moeller Raceway Park, Mount Orab, Ohio, runs Friday nights. What time's racing start?
Gates open 4:30, hot laps at 7. Racing starts right around 7:30.
All right, race fans, remember that. Moeller Raceway Park, Mount Orr, Bahia. Hope to see you all up there. All right, that was an awesome interview. We're ready to pick, and this week we're going to pick Moeller Raceway Park since we're on there. So I believe, Kevin Moeller, let's let you start with your late model class.
I'm going to go with John Whitney. He's been running great. He's had a few seconds here lately. Barry Doss, the boss, is always tough, but I think John Whitney's due. I'm going to go with John Whitney this week in the late models.
Kevin Schoonover, what do you think?
Club 29, Jameson.
Jason Jameson. All right. I got to pick, man, he said Doss. I'll pick Doss. All right, Now we got modifieds here real quick. Kevin Moeller?
Devin Gilpin.
Devin Gilpin.
Gilpin, man. I got to go with him.
14 wins.
Now, Buzzard beat him a couple weeks ago. Buzzard outran him, but this kid, he's something special. He's Gilpin.
All right, now real quick, we'll run bombers. Kevin Moeller.
Ooh. I'm going to go with the Scott boy. Jeremy Bretts has been dominating, but that Scott boy, he's coming on. If he's there, I'm going with him.
Schoonover?
I'm going to go with Bretts.
I was going to go with Bretts, too. So, all right, Jeremy Bretts. Now, one more. I believe it's Chevettes. Kevin Moeller.
I'm going to go with Sean Jones. He's really come on this year, done a great job, won a couple A-mains, so I'm going to go with Sean Jones.
I don't know many people down there, but I'll go with Miles Tarvin.
I'm probably going to. Tarvin's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right, now real quick here before we go off, who's going to win the American Heritage Classic of Brushcreek Motorsports?
Wow. I got to go with my buddy, the Buzzard. I think he's on top of his game this year. He's been running with you guys. I'm going to go with Doug Atkins.
I hope Doug gets it.
I'm going to go with Gilpin.
I'm going to go with Jared Landers.
Jared Landers. All right.
This is important enough.